This is one of my favorite clips I've seen so far this year. It features my guy Sloan Olalu Sloan. I'm sure some of you guys know him as Sloan, who's the artist who paints those gollywog sort of imageries and shit, who people kind of go crazy and nuts over, getting upset and whatever it may be, because you know some of these imagery people seem to like. But I think this particular clip, courtesy of an interview that he did recently with Billy the Goat, is hilarious. Because the caption says, artist Oliver Sloan reveals he sold his first painting for a gram of cocaine. Let's play the video. Big up Oliver Sloan. He's just like me, for real, for real.
And as there a point when you realize that, right, like, I can actually take this somewhere. Or
I'll tell you where. There was a lot of people in the house here. My dad is here, so I'm whispering. And then this woman named Maddie here, she was like, oh, I love your paintings. Like, I'll give you a gram of cocaine for one of them. And I was like, a gram of cocaine for one. That was my first sale. Ask them. That was my first sale.
Look at Billy the Goat.
A gram of cocaine.
His first painting sold for a gram of coke.
I love it. I fucking love it. I love Billy the Goat's face as well, because he kind of looks at him and like starts to not rate him anymore, which and it says a lot about black culture in it when it comes to drugs and shit. Like, I always found it hilarious how anti and uncomfortable black people are around any drug outside of the ones that they do to excess. You know, the preferred drugs being obviously the alcohol and the weed. And it's like, bruh, or especially in America, it's worse because, you know, they're into like, you know, prescription drugs and all sorts of other shit. But I always found that to be really interesting because it's clear that the evidence, it's clear by their, obviously some people love to like act like they're not into it, but then the numbers speak for themselves, right? Especially in the UK, the amount of people that do stuff like coke and stuff is just obscene, right? I think it's, you know, crazy numbers. I think if I'm not mistaken, London might be the place where the most cocaine is consumed of all Europe, including other countries, like London specifically. Like, people do a bunch of gear here, a bunch of fucking drinking happens here. So clearly a lot of people are doing it. So even black people like to act a bit, you know, high and mighty and kind of, you know, uppity about it. Clearly some of them are doing it because the numbers speak for themselves. But I also think in this particular context, as much as I like Sloan's art and shit, I think this actually makes him look cooler. I'm not going to lie, because I think his art is cool, but I think for sometimes he can come across a little bit, I won't say dorky or nerdy, but not the coolest. I don't know why. Something about him. I'm not too sure what it is. Maybe it's a trolling. I'm not too sure. The art I like itself, but I think this actually makes him look cooler, because in his world, which is the contemporary art world, this is part and parcel of the game. Like, most private views end with people closing the doors, going to the office and racking up tons of fucking lines anyway. This is a part of the industry, a part of the scene. So the fact that one of his first art sales was to exchange a painting for a gram tells me that most likely the person that sold him, the person that offered, knows that he did grams, knows that he did coke anyway. So, you know, you don't just offer somebody a gram for a painting because, you know, just off the bat. You usually offer that to somebody because you maybe have done a line or two with them, or because you've seen them around the scene and shit, so they know Wagwan. So that tells me everything I need to know about him himself as a person, character-wise, personality and shit. But it also kind of opens you up and shows you a little bit of like what goes on in the art world for real, and how kind of weird it is. And sometimes why it's so important to maybe hang around and like kiss babies and rub elbows sometimes, because that could and it also kind of maybe explains to you why maybe he's had such a meteoric rise, because he's always been about. Yeah, he's taking part in these afters. He's going to these private views. He's hanging out in these, you know, rich white people's houses and shit. And, you know, I'm sure they're fascinated by him because of what he looks like, his accent, where he's from and shit. So maybe it's a bit of fetishizations going on, but this does kind of show you, for me anyway, it does kind of illustrate why maybe he was able to blow, no pun intended, so quickly compared to his other peers or people in the industry who maybe think they're more talented than him. Like that one girl I featured on the podcast before. This might be part of the reason, because he's out here doing fucking gear with these people, you know? That girl's in her studio working hard, you know, perfecting her craft, painting what she's painting, but this guy is out in the raves, or is out at the afters with these dealers, with these gallerists, with these curators, right? And this is maybe the reason why his art career has like blossomed the way it has done, and he's got collaborations coming out of every orifice of his body. I think I saw a recent clip actually or post from someone. I forgot what account I saw it from, that featured that. So there was a clip of him somewhere at Nike, and allegedly he's got a Nike collaboration coming up as well. I think I saw something with Rolex before. So I think all of these endorsements are part of that, because it seems like he's involved, you know. So that's probably a reason why a lot of those people become very successful. So big up Sloan, big up Sloan. You love to see it. You absolutely love to see it.